This is my former military truck that I've converted into my full-time home on wheels. So it actually took me just over 3 months to build this truck out in its entirety, which I highly do not recommend. What's nice about these vehicles is they come out of the US Army fairly inexpensively. The base platform, I like to say, is the cheapest square footage build of any big rig that you can do. Basically everything that you have in a home, I kind of have on a smaller scale. Hi, my name is Mike Ladden. I'm with Drive the Globe, and this is my 2002 Stewart Stevenson 6-wheel drive former military truck that I've converted into my full-time home on wheels. So I began my nomadic travels many years ago by going across Africa by backpack. During that process, I got into Land Rovers. And when I came back to the United States, first thing I did was get an old Land Rover. And about 6 years ago, I decided I've had enough of sedentary life and sold my house, sold everything in it, and went on the road. So I've now covered 120 countries on 5 continents. Every 2 years, I've changed vehicles. First couple of years, I was in a Unimog with an Expedition trailer that I had self-built behind it. I then decided that the trailer life wasn't perfect for me, and I transitioned into a four-wheel drive Stewart Stevenson that is very similar to this, and you can check out that video. But this was the upgrade from that vehicle, and the difference really is, other than it's a 6-wheel drive vehicle, it has the additional space in the back for the garage. The inside footprint here is just about exactly the same as my last truck. Although it's the same amount of square footage, it feels much more open. So to acquire this truck, most of the time you get them from military auction. In my case, this particular vehicle came from Midwest Military, which is a reseller of military equipment. What's nice about these vehicles is they come out of the US Army fairly inexpensively. So the base platform, I like to say, is the cheapest square footage build of any big rig that you can do. So when I acquired this vehicle, it was actually a flatbed, and it was originally used to carry 20-foot sea containers. I bought a military communications box off of a different truck and put it onto the chassis of this vehicle. Those come in 12 feet, and I had extended to 21 feet. So we basically chopped the back of the box off, moved it to the rear, and then kind of connected the dots. That was a little bit above my pay grade, so I used my buddies that have a metal fab shop. So it actually took me just over 3 months to build this truck out in its entirety, which I highly do not recommend anybody to try to duplicate. The reason was, being full-time, I didn't have a home, and I actually built it in my mom's condo's overflow parking lot, and it was an over 55 community, so everybody would visit me on a daily basis to check on progress. And I'm actually surprised that the condo place didn't kick me out, but they didn't, so it got done. I often get asked, how is this thing to actually drive and how much does it cost to run? And surprisingly, believe it or not, it gets about 10.5 miles per gallon, which is amazing for a truck that weighs very close to 15 tons. With the seats in the cab, airbags, suspension on, it actually drives pretty nice down the highway, and I can cruise between 65 and 75 miles an hour. So the truck is actually 30 foot long in total. It has a 21-foot box on it, which includes 17 feet inside and a 4-foot garage at the back, which is a big feature of the truck I'm going to be showing you. It rides on these massive 4-foot tall tires. There's 6 of them. And we also custom built this sort of ladder system. So when I'm traveling on the road, it's on drawer slides, and it just slides in underneath the truck. And I take this ladder part, which accordion styles folds up, and I put it in the underbody storage. All right, now that you're inside, the first thing that we see here is my command center. So this is where I have all of my remotes for my batteries, solar system, inverter monitoring, light control panel. I've got a weather station kind of. I've got Amazon Alexa here for playing music. This is my controls for my indoor heat, remote controls for the powered awnings outside, max air vent fan, and the air conditioner. One of the reasons that I built this like this is I wanted to be able to upgrade in the future if I needed to. So this actually is a chase setup here. And you can see this panel on the top, this panel on the bottom, and in fact this wood panel here all pop out. So all of the wiring is located down here and runs underneath the truck back to the garage. So in the future, if I want to do any kind of upgrades, it's easy to do. All right, we'll start out here in the kitchen. Basically everything that you have in a home, I kind of have on a smaller scale. Got a stove top, an oven down below. Up in this cabinet here, we have a microwave. And then we have the Nespresso machine, because coffee is obviously required. And underneath the sink, we have dual zone refrigerator, freezer, and I have a second one in the cab as well. So I've got plenty of space for food.
One of the biggest misconceptions about off-grid camping is that you have to give up comfort just to get away. But I think one of the best off-grid upgrades is having a fridge freezer system that actually works no matter where you are. So that's why I'd like to thank this week's sponsor, Travoca, for sending over this 45-liter dual zone e-cooler for me to test out. I've used traditional coolers for years, and the constant ice runs, wet food, and wasted space gets old fast. The Travoca dual zone e-coolers give you 100% dry storage, which means you don't need ice. It works by plugging directly into shore power or even by plugging into your vehicle's 12-volt outlet, which means it's super flexible for road trips, camping, or even a picnic in the park. And one of my favorite parts is the dual zone setup, which means you can run one side as a freezer and one side as a fridge at the exact same time. The 5-layer vacuum insulation performs 8 times better than standard foam insulation, and the high-tech flash freeze gets temperatures down to as low as -4 degrees in just 30 minutes. Plus, it was designed to look good doing it. And the Toshiba compressor is surprisingly quiet. You barely notice it running. Compared to other portable fridges that I've used, I can honestly say this feels less like a cooler upgrade and more like a long-term off-grid investment. So if you want to check out the Travoca dual zone e-coolers for yourself, make sure you click the links in the description. But right now, let's get back to our tour.
Double bowl sink was a necessity for me. I like cooking, and thus that requires a lot of cleanup. So this makes it easier, as well as fresh water for drinking. I have a UV light filtration system here that comes out of this tap right here. On the other side of the kitchen is my workstation. So currently I support my lifestyle on the road through social media, brand partnerships, YouTube, and most importantly Patreon. I consult for quite a few people building out other rigs and doing adventure travels around the world. So you can check me out at Drive the Globe on all social medias, and drivetheglobe.com is my website. So up above here I have my computer set up. Down below, the cabinets underneath, they're a little messy right now, but I have all of my electronic hookups so I can plug in and charge batteries for cameras and phones and the laptop and everything else. And then behind, if I need more space, this pops up. It's like a fold-out table. So if I had somebody else I wanted to sit and eat dinner or spread out work on there to do, I can pop that up. Right here we can see I have my water closet, which I had in my last truck as well. My two things that I kind of changed is one, I made it slightly larger and easier to get in and out of. And you can see I have a fairly large sink, because one of my complaints was always that you're washing your hands or you're washing your face or doing whatever and it's just splashing all over. So I wanted more sink capacity. I have run with a Dometic cassette toilet system, and most importantly I wanted to have a dry bathroom. I did not want a wet bath, so I have my shower separately. One of the features that I enjoy the most is a full-size shower with a glass door. It's a 32 by 32 with a rain head above it. Across from that we have an ample area for storage for clothing with drawers, shoe storage on the bottom, and plenty of hanging area for clothing. Behind me here is my bedroom, which consists of a full-size bed. I installed on this truck an air conditioning system on the roof that's above the bedroom, and I've discovered that if I'm in a climate that's super hot and I really want to keep it cool at night, I put a curtain rod here so I can put a curtain across and just air condition this section. So this truck is actually called Baobab, which is a tree of life from Africa. So I went with the kind of the tree theme. As you can see, I've got birch trees. I'm originally from New England, on the bedroom wall and by the entrance. And then I've decorated it with past travels and past vehicles. So I'm up here going across Africa. Here's the pyramids. In the bathroom, I've got my old Mercedes Unimog, Arctic Circle trip, and various places. So it reminds me of my past travels as I move forward to do new travels. So this is like a gore-tight roll-up door that you would find on a fire engine, and I had them custom make it to size. And this opens up into the garage for my motorcycle. Developing the garage in the back was a total game changer for me. It put the motorcycle inside, out of the elements. I wasn't worried about dropping it onto myself when I was loading it, not worrying about it getting stolen. And in addition, it took all of those components that you saw, the electronics and different related things, out of these cabinets and gave me probably, if I had to take a guess, 30 or 40% more space for kitchen storage here inside my habitat. So I'll show you how the motorcycle lift works. It actually is pretty simple, so that it's sitting right here, and as I push this out, it just rolls out of the truck. And then it goes down. And all of this is being operated by any kind of this coilless drill, and it actually can lift up to like 1,500 pounds, which is pretty amazing. And then the wheel chuck will slide down there to the bottom, and in the storage bin underneath the truck there's an extension to this, so it goes right onto the ground. So all you have to do is put your motorcycle front wheel in the wheel chuck, and it pulls it right up, lowers it back down, and slides right in. I can get the motorcycle in or out in like less than 45 seconds. So one of my favorite things about having the garage, which actually I didn't realize when I was building it because it was really for the motorcycle, was the fact that I could relocate all of my electronic equipment from the cab back to the rear here, and everything is accessible on the wall. So we have a 3,000 watt inverter. These are 4 solar controllers that are coming down from the roof. All of my DC and AC circuit breakers. I've got the Garmin control systems here that do all the lighting and water pump, and here's your fill from shore power or from water hookups. I have 175 gallons of fresh water on board this, which is enormous, so I could stay off grid for indefinite periods of time. And then underneath here we have the bank of batteries. So there are 4 300 amp hour lithium batteries. So I've got 1,200 amp hours of battery and 2,000 watts of solar on the roof. So here in the back is my custom built deck, which typically I like to roll up to the water line or somewhere wherever I'm camped and hang out and look at the vistas. I have a second spare tire for the truck that also is on the back. This, by the way, is a former military truck, so it has the original van doors at the back, which is nice for loading things into the garage. So underneath the truck we have underbody storage bins for whatever camping gear and stuff. I've got one on the other side and then 2 on this side. This is the access panel right here for all of my utilities, hookups for water and power. I chose to put those inside the garage so they wouldn't be on the outside of the truck. I have 2 18-foot Dometic awnings that we don't have put out today because it's so windy here in Flagstaff. And then this truck is actually military, so it has 24 and 12 volt battery system. It has air brakes, which is nice because I have a hookup under here to cook up air tools and anything else that I want to run on air. So if in the event that I got a flat tire, I've got all my air trucks and everything to easily change it, because as you can imagine, the tires weigh just about 400 pounds. A couple cool features about this truck. Number one, it has central tire inflation, which operates from the cab by push buttons, so you can set it for sand or for mud or for highway speeds, and it deflates and inflates automatically as you drive. It also has what they call eco hubs, which is basically a gear not a gear reduction, I guess it's the opposite of the gear reduction. It takes it from 2 to 1 to 1 to 1. So it can cruise, believe it or not, over 80 miles an hour. So from the military, it was kind of stock at maybe 55, but I've upgraded the axle gearing as well as the hub gears. Located right here is the air intake system for the truck, as well as a gigantic train air horn, which is super loud. And then conveniently, the military located the checks for oil and transmission. As you can see, it's quite a long dipstick. We custom built this ladder system and front protection for the vehicle, as well as a bunch of rooftop storage bins from Zargis. I keep my spare propane as well as a Honda generator up on the roof. So as you can see on the front of the truck, it's pretty rugged. It's got some hitches for pulling the truck if you got something big to do it with. I've got ample amounts of off-road lighting for nighttime. I upgraded the mirrors on this vehicle as well. These are actually from a Freightliner over-the-road truck. And then we can take a look inside the cab. Underneath, you can see it's a 7.2 liter diesel engine. It's a turbocharged Caterpillar, and it runs on an Allison transmission. The parts are actually fairly common for this truck, and it can get serviced at any diesel shop pretty much anywhere. Another cool feature, as you can imagine, the tires are so heavy. It has hydraulic lift for the tires, so it just comes down and it pulls it back up, as well as the cab tilt. So it's easy actually to work on the vehicle because the whole cab tilts forward to work on the engine and transmission. So some of my future plans, I have the Bug to continue building. My next project actually is going to surprise a lot of people. It's going to be a lot smaller of a setup, which is going to give me a challenge of trying to build sort of what I like to do, but in a much smaller platform. So I'm looking forward to that next. And that's going to be mission specific because I'm building that to make my way through some smaller areas of Central America.
If you like this week's episode, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And check back soon because we have new unique home tours publishing all the time. And if you'd like to join our team and get access to members-only content and unique perks, make sure you click on the join button below.